Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing the Mafia readathon. By the time this reading vlog comes out, it'll be so over. But if you guys want to get some Mafia romance recommendations, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Hey guys, so it's a little bit later in the day and I'm about to start my first read for this Mafia readathon vlog. Sorry if there's lipstick on my chin, I just had dinner. But I'm going to be reading Fractured Souls by Neva Altaj. I completely forgot that this book had recently, I believe it came out in March or April. I believe March? Early April. But the thing that Neva Altaj does is that when she first releases it, she doesn't put it on KU until like what, 2 months later. So I finally can read it. I'm gonna read it. I'm excited. I'm about to start it right now. I will let you guys know more when I know more. And if I finish it, I will update you guys tomorrow. Hi guys. So it is the next day and I figured I would update you guys on the books that I have finished for this Mafia readathon. Listen, my hair not herring. Also, it is so hot, y'all. Okay, I really needed that. I'm sitting here in my vanity because I thought I was gonna do my makeup, but honestly at this point I'm not gonna do my makeup because I just finished taking up my apartment and like I broke out in a sweat. I'm still a little sweaty, so me putting makeup on top of that, I'm just like, I don't know. But I do have like a couple of videos to film and like editing I need to do. I want to post today. I don't even know what time it is. I just lost all track of time. So I'm gonna have to do makeup eventually, so I don't know if I should do it. I need to write down what I need to get done today because it's all jumbled up in here and I need to write it down or else I'm never gonna get anything done. But at least my apartment's clean except my office. As you can see, I have piles of books everywhere. I need to fill my Polycon haul so that I can put these books away and also organize my bookshelf again, my bookshelves again. And I think my boyfriend was saying how I'm gonna, oh shit, the rice is done. I'm also making rice. Okay. We're moving, people. My boyfriend was saying that I'm probably gonna need another bookshelf. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to get another bookshelf. So I'm either gonna have to unhaul stuff or yeah, I don't know. So basically, I finished reading Fractured Souls by Neva Altaj. Our heroine, she is raped and then kidnapped and basically a sex slave. And she ends up escaping one night and she actually like runs in front of our hero's car. Our hero's name is Pasha, I believe, or Pavel, but they call him Pasha. He doesn't actually hit her with his car, like he stopped and then he just like scoops her up and he takes her to his doctor and like this is when he finds out like what she's been through. And when she wakes up, she actually trauma bonds with him. And you know what, the trauma bonding wasn't disgusting. The trauma bonding was honestly very, very beautiful. I loved seeing Pasha like take care of her, the way that he would just think about her and he was thoughtful in his actions and he just really wanted to take care of her. He's never had anyone like on his side. He's always been alone and like in his own world, and he grew up from poverty. He has his own trauma. He's a fighter. He has just been going through life, like going through the motions until he has, sorry, my dishwasher is going as well, so if you hear that, I'm sorry. Yeah, and he is just, like I said, so thoughtful. And there's like, if you're into caretaking, like this book is for you. Like there's so much caretaking in it and I ate it up. I really did. I gave it 3.5 stars, rounding it up to a 4-star, so it's really good. The thing about this book, I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I just think the writing doesn't mesh well with me. Her writing can be very cliche, kind of cringy at some points. I wish there was a little bit more of an emotional depth to it, like not because the contents of the story aren't emotional, but like I want the writing to be a little bit more flowery, I guess you could say, like just more emotion like in the writing. And her writing is very like straight to the point, easy to read, which is not bad at all. Like I read all her novellas, like I enjoy them, I love reading them, have fun reading them. So yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars, running up to a 4. If it sounds like something you would like, I definitely recommend. There were just so many cute scenes in here. You guys have to read it. It's just absolutely beautiful and the smut is always great. It's definitely a slow burn because there's like so much emotional and physical healing on the heroine's part, and yeah, I loved it. I really did. So then I ended up reading another book called, what the hell is it called? I already forgot what it's called. Oh, it's called Confess by Isabella Starling. Okay, so this book, I was so intrigued by this book. It is a priest Mafia Romance with Captured Captive. I was going into this just expecting I don't even know what the hell I was expecting, but it's not what I got, okay? Because I was so in it from the first half of the book, like, period. But then it just crashed and burned, and I was like, what is this ending? Like, what is even going on? So, listen, I'm probably gonna spoil this book because I need to talk about it. I gave it 2 stars because I hated it. But I finished it, so I give it 2 stars. It was so bad. Okay, well, it wasn't so bad. It's just like the ending and the untraditional HEA. It wasn't for me. Like, I hated it. So yeah, if you don't want to get spoiled and you think you want to read this, then just skip this update. But anyways, we have our heroine, Carlota. And then we have our hero, Father Amadeo. And then we have another hero, which is Father Amadeo's brother, Valentino. So we have these 3 people, right? We kind of open the story where our hero, Father Amadeo, he is stalking our heroine. He has been stalking her since she was 3 years old. Like, big ass age gap. He's been stalking her and obsessed with her because he wants to get revenge and she wants her to pay for her father's sins. Every chapter has like a Bible verse. There's the priest kink in here. It just all of that. All of that is in this book, okay? So good and dandy, right? He ends up kidnapping her like 2 weeks before she turns 18, and he has this whole house that is like kind of run down, and he puts her in the basement. The windows are barred and she's a captive, okay? Like, whole situation here. All of a sudden we get a chapter with Valentino's point of view, and I'm like, why are we getting his brother's point of view? Like, that is so random. Like, what is going on? And you just see him look at her and desire her. He wants her for himself, which should have clued me in, but it didn't. And I was just like, okay, there might be like a secondary plot here, like, I don't know. So after that, we don't get his point of view for a minute. Now, in basically the biggest chunk of the book is where Father Amadeo is with Carlota, and he's like torturing her. There's ice baths where he basically shoves her under until she like confesses or like whatever. He puts her on a St. Andrew's cross. There is spanking with the belt. There's like the whipping. There's a lot, okay? There is quite a bit. There's also sexual acts happening. So like, he goes down on her. He eventually does take her virginity because she is a virgin. And then there's also this part where he like takes her to mass. And she is just walking around naked, and everybody like in his side of the mafia like hates her, obviously. So she's just walking around this church naked, and like people are being mean to her and like yelling stuff at her and calling her names, and his uncle like spits on her face. And the hero like never does anything, like Father Amadeo. But then Valentino, he gets really mad that they're like degrading her like that, and he fights with his brother at this mass thing, and so she ends up running away. But then Valentino ends up finding her, and he takes her to his grandmother's house that Amadeo wouldn't know about, and he has her there and he takes care of her. Then he wants to kiss her really bad. Like, by the way, we're in his point of view at this point. Like, now we are getting more of his point of view, and I'm just like, yeah. And they have this kiss, but in his point of view, it seems like she just didn't enjoy it. But then we get into her point of view, and she's like, sparks flew. And I was like, what? I thought you were falling in love with Father Amadeo. So then she like, because this is where she learns that he is torturing her and hurting her because her father killed his pregnant wife. Father Amadeo's pregnant wife, her father killed her. That's why he's been torturing her and like refuses to like love her or whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna atone for my sins. Like, I can save him. And so she goes back to him, and this is where he takes her virginity. But then her father storms the house, and like bullets go flying, and the father captures her again, and she just like doesn't want to go back to her father because she's like in love with Father Amadeo now. He gets shot and stabbed, but then his brother Valentino saves him. But she's like stuck with her father now, and she's like captive with her father because her father's true color shows now, and like he's been like beating her and shit for like 2 months straight while it takes Father Amadeo to recover, and like they form this plan. They save her, right? But during this like saving her, shit goes down, and I'm telling y'all basically the whole last fucking book because this shit is crazy, y'all. And then her father puts her up for like to be bought to the highest, like she wants to be bought by the highest bidder, and then they like, this is their plan or whatever. And so they're like running away. The father catches up and she ends up hold of the gun and she shoots the father like in the knees, and they're like racing to the car, like to the getaway car, and Amadeo is like circling Carlota and Valentino and like basically taking the bullets in his back. Like, bro, this shit is crazy. And then once they get into the car, we realize that he's been shot and like he's gonna die. So Father Amadeo dies. But not before they find out that she's pregnant. From that one time. She's pregnant from that one time by Father Amadeo. And not even that, y'all. Next thing we find out, like, while she's being beaten by her father, the father tells her the truth. And basically, Amadeo's wife was Carlota's mother. Honestly, I finished this book for the plot, y'all. I really did it for the plot because what the hell is happening? Yeah, so Carlota's mom was actually Amadeo's wife because the wife was with Carlota's father first, gave birth to her, and then she left him. Or first of all, her father impregnated her mother at 16, and Amadeo didn't get with Carlota's mom until she was like 18. So her father is nasty as hell. So that's why the father kills Amadeo's wife, and she was already pregnant with Amadeo's child, so he killed her. Anyways, yeah, he dies and she's pregnant with his kid, and he makes what's his name, Valentino, promise to always take care of her. And then he leaves him a letter that he finds like 2 months after, talking about I give you permission to like be with her. And like now they're together and happily ever after ? Y'all, like what the actual fuck just happened? 2/3 of this book, this is only like 200 and something pages, literally 200 pages. Just kidding. Like 160 pages of this book is Father Amadeo like torturing her and like keeping her captive and like making her like break but also like fall in love with him. And you know what, I eat a captive, okay? I like captive. I love when like the hero like is actually torturing the heroine, but like he starts to feel regret and remorse and guilty for hurting her because he's like slowly falling in love with her. I eat that shit up. So this is where I thought this was going. I was like, oh, they about to fall in love, like this is gonna be good, he's gonna change his mind, he's gonna be like, I'm sorry for hurting you, blah 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 blah. No, he dies, and I'm like, I didn't even believe this HEA between Valentino and Carlota, like his brother. And I was just like, yeah, I was shook. Like, I was like, what the fuck did I just read? I can't believe he died and then she married his brother while having his brother's kid in her belly. Like, I was so mad. Because what the fuck did we go all this torture for? What did we do all this build up for if she was just gonna end up with another man? Yeah, I was flabbergasted. I was shook. I was like, clearly I have zero words for what the fuck this book was. Now, don't get me wrong. I liked the writing. Some of it was just kind of, some of it was, I guess at some points I was just like, But overall, like I liked the writing, I liked the smut. So I'm down to read more by this author. But if her books are all bonkers like this at the end, like they're good, like the buildup is good and then it crashes and burns, I don't know if I can do it. Dude, the drama of this book, like, it's giving very telenovela vibes, but like not in a good way. Like, anyways, I'm just gonna shut up about it now because I have been recording for like 20 minutes and I'm over it. Like, I don't know. This book was just crazy, y'all. I think if anything, just read it for the fun of it, read it for the plot, just know all of that I just said. Anyways, moving on. I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I have to choose my next Mafia read. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of makeup. So I'm currently reading Reckless Heir by Jenika Snow, and I am just absolutely loving it. Like I really am. I am 37% of the way in, and just when you're looking for a dark mafia romance, this is what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? First of all, things that I'm loving, just the unhingedness of Nikolai is Chef's Kiss. I do like our heroine. She is very demure because that's how she, oh my god, me holding this phone up to record. She is very demure because that's how she grew up, but she does have this backbone, like it's very deep, but I can see it and Nikolai can see it too, and he's just like already obsessed with her from the moment that he saw her, and I'm eating it up. She's afraid of him, but she's also very attracted to him, and I love that. I also really love the Russian pet names and like the nicknames and stuff. You know when you're reading a book and it has like a different language and you go to Google Translate and it translates and you read what it means and you just like you just like giggle and kick your feet because it's like so cute. That's happened to me already. I'm just having a great time. I'm just finding myself laughing and like squealing and like just eating this book up. I also just finished a scene where this is literally touch her and you die. I feel like all mafia romances are touch her and you die, but like Nikolai, he's crazy. Amara basically caught a soldier, like this other daughter of this like mafia person. Like obviously she's not supposed to be fucking a soldier, and Amara caught them and he was threatening her and saying all these nasty things to her and like what he would do to her, and and you just like out of the corner of her eye she sees Nikolai like come across the corner of the hallway, and like there's this part where it says, "It was only when Nikolai lifted the gun and trained it at Eduardo's temple that I felt the air around me change. And it took a millisecond for Eduardo to realize we weren't alone, but it was too late. Because when Nikolai gave me a slow grin and an arrogant wink, I knew this was the end. And then my husband pulled the trigger." Period. The way you know he's unhinged, but he's also arrogant and cocky, and the fact that he put a gun to his head, looked at her, smirked, and winked at her, and then killed him like right then and there in her wedding dress. Period. I eat it up, but I am literally 37% of the way. Chapter 13, I'm just like right after that happened, but I wanted to give you guys an update because it's just so good. I love me a man like Nikolai, and I already know that this is gonna be fire. But I will update you guys when I have something more to say or when I have finished the book. Okay, brief intermission for me to talk about Reckless Heir. This is future me. I was editing this video today and I realized when I did both of my updates for Reckless Heir, I was both times in the bathroom. One was at nighttime, I was taking my makeup off, and then in the morning, I was doing my morning skincare. But I didn't have my microphone plugged in. And just the sound quality is absolutely horrendous. Like I didn't even want to edit it, so I know y'all didn't even want to hear it. Okay, so I'm just gonna insert this clip right here to tell you guys my thoughts, the updates that I had in those two clips about Reckless Heir. I basically was saying that I was loving Nikolai and Amara's relationship. I just love the way that Jenika Snow builds the tension and the chemistry. She puts these scenes into the book. They may be little, they may be big, but like you can just feel the tension. You can feel the chemistry. You can just see how much both of these characters want each other. It's just like inevitable. It is so hot and it's so sexy, and she just builds it so well. I love that it was a slow burn. Like I remember her wedding night, they didn't actually go all the way, but like that was a scene that built that tension and that chemistry. It's a slow burn, but it's still hot. You know, like it's still sexy. It still gives you what you need. Those are my favorite types of slow burns. And I'm sorry that I'm so oily, but it's at the end of the day, I did not powder. Anyways, but I will say I did give this book 4 stars because there were a couple of things towards the ending that I didn't like, that weren't my favorite. So let's start off with, I did want a little bit more of an emotional connection. She lacks in the emotional connection, and I did find that lacking in the first book as well. That's why I gave it 4.5 stars, but I still liked it more than this one. With this one, it's like more of a sexual, physical magical connection between the characters. I don't know, I can't remember, it's been a couple of days, but I don't think that they had any real meaningful conversations. Like, they didn't really get to know each other. At least I don't remember them getting to know each other. Like, I don't know, I just needed more. We already have the sexual relationship down pat, we have the slow burn, everything, but I needed them to love each other for something other than that. There was also random scenes throughout the book. That's another reason why I didn't get it 5 stars. For example, one scene in particular, we had this underground fighting thing going on where Nikolai had to go do some business, and he leaves Amara in his office, but like he doesn't force her to stay there. Like, she has the freedom to venture out. Nikolai doesn't explicitly tell her like, you need to stay in this office, blah blah blah. And so Amara, she takes that and she's like, wow, I have so much freedom, like I can do whatever I want. So she starts to leave the office and she kind of follows where she assumes that Nikolai went, and there is a bodyguard at the door of the office and he doesn't stop her. There are men posted throughout this journey that she's taking and none of them stop her. And if Nikolai wanted his men to stop his wife from going somewhere that she may not want to see or experience, or she might get hurt, then he should have told his men. But clearly he hadn't, because she was able to go and she was living for it. Like, she was like, I have so much freedom, like I love that he's not controlling me or whatever, right? But once she's in this underground world, she gets attacked by this guy, and then the ruiner, which I'm guessing this scene was the moment for Jenika Snow to introduce the next hero of the next book, which is the ruiner. He kills the man that was forcing himself on Amara, and then that's when Nikolai comes up and he takes care of her and he takes her back to the office, and then he starts beating up the guard that was at the outside of the office, and he's like beating him up like he's gonna kill him for not protecting his wife and like letting her wander. Then Amara tells him, like, she stands up to him and she's like, no, like stop, like you're gonna kill him, like it wasn't his fault, like I chose to leave the office, period. Like, this is what we needed, right? She needed to stand up. She had a backbone. She was like, don't kill this man because he didn't stop me from my choices, my consequences, right? And so he lets him go. They go back to his apartment, and then this is where he like actually finally takes her virginity, which is all hot, all cool, right? Then she wakes up the next morning, or like she wakes up a little bit after, and he comes back and there's like blood all over him, and it's because he went back and killed the dude that was guarding the door of the office. And she just like lets it slide, and I'm just like, that innocent poor man is dead because you, I mean, you know what, Nikolai, he went when she was sleeping, so it's not like she could do something, but she didn't like get angry at him for going back and killing that man. She had told him not to kill him and he still did it anyways, and she like didn't get mad. She kind of just got sad, and then that was that. And I was just like, what was the point of this scene? Like, it didn't prove that she was a boss ass bitch. It didn't prove that she had a thicker backbone than she had previously. I think overall it was just to introduce the next hero for the next book, but it was just like, for what? I will say overall with Reckless Heir, I gave it 4 stars. I did love it. There was more things that I loved about it than those 2 things. Like, obviously I wish there was more of an emotional connection, but yeah, that is my review for Reckless Heir. So let's get back into the video. Hey guys, so I'm here for an update. That's not really much of an update, but I figured I would update anyways. I just spent like the last 3 hours in my office organizing my books. I am tired. I am so tired. But I filmed my Polycon haul. I was gonna show all the swag that I got, but it would have just made the video way too long, and then I'd have to like go through it all and put it with like each of the books and each of the authors, and I was just like, I'm not doing that. I was organizing them like in a certain way at the beginning, but towards the end, I kind of just started putting books wherever they would fit because, yeah, anyways, I finished. Well, I think I updated you guys on Reckless Heir, right? Yeah. I told you guys I gave it a 4 star. Yeah, I gave it a 4 star if I didn't update already. I gave it a 4 star. And then I finished that other book that I was telling you guys about, the L. Kennedy one. But after I finished that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back into my Mafia mood. The Mafia readathon is over. It ended on my birthday, but I wasn't able to read anything on my birthday. And I wasn't able to read anything on Saturday because my Saturdays are so busy. So I technically only read, what, 3 books in this Mafia readathon. 3 or 2? I have no idea. But I was thinking, why don't we just keep these good vibes going? If you know, you know. Comment down below. So I figured I would just continue to read Mafia Romance and add it to this reading vlog. Because I'm not done. I'm not done with Mafia reading. You know what I mean? I guess I will say when this is done. Or whenever I think I have way too much footage. But I am currently reading Savage Beginnings by J.L. Beck and C. Hallman. I am 14% of the way in, and I had made a post on IG saying how I didn't really know how I was feeling about it, and I was gonna give it up to 20% before I decided to DNF. My bestie Avery, she said that she didn't like it, and I was like, probably won't like it, but I'm still gonna give it to 20%. I got 6% more. I'm gonna give it a chance. But with that said, this is a dark mafia arranged marriage, captive, because our hero Julian, he buys our heroine essentially. Our heroine is, what is her name, bro? Elena. Elena has been sold by her father for $10 million. And I was like, damn. And basically we open right away where Julian buys Elena, and she's just kind of in shock. She's pushing back, which I don't know if I find annoying or if I like that she's pushing back. Like, she's not a damsel in distress, but she's also kind of annoying. Where's the line between damsel in distress and a badass? Kind of in the middle, kind of annoying. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. Like, she's kind of annoying, and Julian is just kind of like, I want to fuck her. You know, like, I can't wait to fuck her. That's basically all he's thinking. I need a little bit more. And so I'm thinking, I've read quite a few of J.L. Beck's works just by themselves or with C. Hallman. They do a lot of books together, and I feel like I've read both of them together and J.L. Beck by themselves. I've read quite a few of their books, and I'm coming to the realization that I don't connect with their writing. Their writing is very much mediocre. Like, I get what they're trying to do. For most of the part, I like their smut and I like their plot. It's also like their characters are very over the top, and the writing is sometimes repetitive. So like, I'm not jiving with it, but like, I can read their books, and like, I guess I would prefer their novellas. Essentially what I'm saying is that I know that J.L. Beck and C. Hallman are not 5-star authors for me, and they're fun to read, but they're not ever gonna be all-time faves, or at least I haven't read one, and I don't think that I will. Anyways, yeah, those are my thoughts. I wanted to do this update, tell you that this is gonna continue, this reading vlog, even though the readathon is over, and to tell you what I'm currently reading. Okay, I am 82% of the way into Devil of Dublin by B.B. Easton, and y'all, I should have been eating this book up, and you may think that I am eating this book up because I'm giving you guys an update at 82%, but I don't know. Like, I don't know whether I like it. I don't know if I love it. I don't even know if I dislike it, and if I do dislike it, what about it don't I like? Honestly, you guys, I think I'm in a reading slump, and it sucks that I'm in a reading slump in this Mafia vlog, because I'm thinking that Devil of Dublin is gonna be like 3.5, 4 stars, depending on how it ends. I just really thought I was gonna love Devil of Dublin. Like, I really did, and I really wanted to love it because the alternate cover is so gorgeous. But I don't know if my reading slump is affecting the way that I enjoyed this book. So basically, we have our main character, Darby, and we have our hero, what's his name? We have Darby, and Kellen. We have Darby and Kellen. So Darby is told these like magical, fantastical stories by her grandpa about the forest behind his like ranch in the middle of Ireland. This does take place in Ireland. Our hero is Irish, and I feel like our author, B.B. Easton, like, I love her writing. Like, I do enjoy her writing. I like the way that she adds emotion, and it's more like a flowery or like kind of poetic. I like that. Like I like her writing. There's nothing against her writing. I think the overall story though is falling flat for me, and I don't know what it is. But anyways, our heroine, she is told these fairy tale stories about the woods, and her mom and her grandpa let her go into the woods, and this is where she finds Kellen. He's in like this abandoned cabin, and he's just, you can tell that he's been abused physically, and she just kind of thinks that he's a fairy. Like, she found the fairy that was in the forest, and he doesn't talk. He's not mute. He chooses not to talk. Like, he feels like fire in his throat, like he can't speak. Yeah. So we get to see them like form this friendship over years. There's year span. So like, I think it was like 1 year, like it was like every year she goes back to Ireland to visit the grandpa, and every year she hangs out with Kellen, and there's a lot of things that happen. There's a slight bit of like, I don't know if it would be necessarily called paranormal, but more like fantastical, but it's not fantasy. It's just like magical. Like, there's a little bit, a sprinkle of magic in there, right? So it gives this sense of fated mates. And you guys know I eat up a fated mate, so like I am eating it up. I do like Darby and Kellen together. This is also a dark romance. Darby's mom passes away. There is no way for her to like go back to Ireland because she's just a kid. I think she's 13, and so it's like years later, I think 7 years later, when she goes back for the funeral of her grandpa and to spread her mother's ashes. And before this, we find out that she had been sexually abused by her father's friends, because she does have to move with her father, and her father has always been a piece of shit. We find out that in the beginning of the book. And so she goes through all this abuse and trauma, and then she actually is in a very abusive relationship. When she goes back, it's her fiance. But like, that whole plot right there, I feel like it was added just for Darby to have trauma, because like it wasn't for the point of angst. Like, there was no angst whatsoever. There was jealousy on Kellen's part, but like there's no angst for why Darby had to be engaged to somebody. It was just for the trauma. So there's that. And then they're like running away from the brotherhood because Kellen ends up saving Darby from something, and then they have to go on the run, but he thinks that he can just do this gun drop off and he can get the money and they can like run away, new identities, whatever, right? But shit don't go that way. And in between that, they're like when they reunite, obviously there's still that like soul connection. There's feelings there, right? And like it gets physical. I like the smut. Our hero is a virgin hero. He obviously was also physically abused, and so he's scared to be intimate with her, for her to touch certain parts of his body. And like, I like that intimacy. I like that vulnerability. I like that Darby has opened up with Kellen about her past, but Kellen doesn't open up to Darby in the same way, and we're already 80% of the way in. Like, I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, like there's just something missing, you guys, but I can't tell you what it is. But anyways, at this point where I'm at, Darby and Kellen are separated. They probably think each one of them is dead. Pretty sure Kellen thinks that Darby is dead, and Darby thinks that Kellen is dead because of shit that goes down. I don't know how they're gonna reunite. I don't know how this is gonna end. I am just like, I'm sitting at a 3.5 just because I'm sitting at like a 3 because like I'm enjoying my read, and like I want to give it a 3.5 because I want to bump it up that 5 because I love the writing, and I love what she was trying to do, but there's just something missing, you guys, and I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to either now or when I finish it, probably when I finish it, because if I spoil it for myself, then I'm gonna fucking hate myself. But I'm gonna have to look at good reviews and see what everybody else is saying, because I am in confusion, because I want to love this book. I just am not, and it makes me so sad. But that is the basis of Devil of Dublin. I do love Kellen. I do love Darby. I love their connection. The smut is really good. The writing is really good. I think that the plot is good as well. Anyways, I'm just gonna stop talking because I'm just gonna go in circles and circles, and me and you, we both know that I don't know. So I will update you guys whenever I finish this book. Hey guys, so I'm back home and I have finished Devil of Dublin by B.B. Easton. So like I had mentioned previously, I wasn't sure what I wanted to rate this book, that I was sitting very much 3-star and 3.5 stars. So I'm gonna land on 3.5 stars and I'm gonna round it up to a 4. Another brief intermission right here. I was talking about Devil of Dublin and how I gave it 4 stars, and I think I will continue talking about how I gave it 4 stars unless I cut it down. After having read it and had a couple of days to process, I just have really thought through it and I am giving a 3.5 star rating. That is still my overall rating for the book. Instead of rounding it up to a 4, I'm gonna round it down to a 3. Because did I love it? No. I really enjoyed the beginning and then I just enjoyed the rest of it. Nowhere in there did I love it. I'm gonna give it a solid 3.5 star and I'm gonna round it down to a 3. But let's go back to me rambling about this book. But it does fall flat for me towards the end. I did have to go and look at other reviews to like get my thoughts in order. So I will link this specific review that I read down below in the description box. But she literally like said it the best. Like I was reading through the reviews and I was like, yeah, points were made, you know? And I was like, this is what I have been kind of feeling towards the book, but I couldn't put into words. This happens to me a lot when I am in a reading slump or when a book really confuzzles me, okay? She basically said, which I agree with, that the beginning half of the book is like so good because the first 20%, first 30-40%, like the childhood and like when she's a little bit older and he comes back into her life, like that chunk, like I loved it. I could see the potential. Like I read that so fast, and mind you, I did up to you guys at like 82%, so I had already been super far in the book, and that's because I had binged kind of the beginning because I was hooked. I was like, I want to see where this is gonna go. Like I want to see what becomes of the hero, how they're gonna reconnect, because Darby does struggle like going back and forth to see him because she is so young. So it's giving very much childhood friends to lovers. So yeah, that's what she was saying. But then towards the end, like when they've come back and reunite, it felt very insta-lovey. The reviewer Melanie, she said that it was very insta-love, but for me, like I didn't so much mind that. I just needed something deeper because I do like fated mates, I do like soulmates, but I want there to be not only like that divine intervention, but also like there needs to be another connection between the characters besides them being fated. Does that make sense? Like we need to see why they were fated, because if they're fated, it's because they're perfect for each other, right? But I feel like when they came back after like the 7-8 years being apart, we didn't get to see how what had happened to the hero between that time and how he became this like notorious enforcer for the Irish mafia. And we also didn't get to see everything that Darby went through during that time. We were just kind of all told that and forced to see them meant to be together and connect after so long based off of what they had as children. Like we didn't get to see more, right? We just jumped in and they're like together and like fighting to be together. For me, I don't so much care about the plot. She made some points in this review about the plot, but like for me, it's not that big of a deal. I think for me, it was mostly like the relationship felt flat for me. Basically, it's the time jump. The time jump fucked the book up because we didn't get to see all of that, if you know what I mean. Because it was told in like this fairy tale aspect. Like I see what B.B. Easton was trying to do to keep that theme throughout the book, but I feel like after both of them, everything they had gone through, not a lot with Kellen. Like he was a dark character, like he was broody, dark, grumpy, like fucked up, not good enough for the heroine type of hero. But with Darby, with everything that she had went through, because when we were told everything that she had been through with her father and her father's friends, it was very like bam, and it was like seeing a very optimistic, shy, happy little girl to her still being like all of this damaged, like, but she still was optimistic towards Kellen and like telling her stuff like fairy tale. Like I don't know, you guys, it was like maybe she should have been like a little bit more jaded, and she wasn't. Anyways, yeah, I think those are the main points that she had made that I was like, yeah, those are the things that I didn't like either. But like I said, I will leave the review down below just in case maybe you were iffy about this book, and it's up to you if you want to read it. I think it's worth the read, but definitely lower your expectations. And if you don't like time jumps, the book is definitely not for you. We just failed after that. I think the time jump really failed this book. But overall, there were still so many things that I loved about it. It's just those were pretty big things about the book that dragged it down. But like I said, 3.5. But yeah, I guess that's my update. Now to add this book to my long list of books I still need to review. It's getting longer by the minute, but hopefully I can find some time either tomorrow or Sunday to write all of them. I don't know. But that's it for now, you guys. I will talk to you guys if I read another book or when this video's over. Hey guys, so I'm here to do my outro for this video, but also I'm not gonna be reading any more books for this reading vlog. I uploaded all the footage and I'm already almost to 2 hours, and I'm pretty sure most of it is me rambling about not even books, so I'm gonna have to cut that down. But anyways, beside the point, look at me rambling again. I did want to let you guys know that I did end up picking up these Violent Delights by Jenika Hawkins. Me about to talk about a book that I am absolutely loving. I don't even know the name. Book 1 in the White Monarch series by Jenika Hawkins. It's called Violent Delights. I am loving it. I already know it's gonna be a 5-star because last time I read it, it was a 5-star. Since I told you guys I've been in a slump, I was like, you know, what if I reread a book, you know? And this falls into the Mafia category, but I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to reread a trilogy, but I'm so glad that I picked it up because it is so good. And this second time around that I'm reading it, I am just seeing like all of these ACOTAR, I don't even want to say references, but like I see ACOTAR in this book. And let me tell you why. If you haven't read this, there could be slight spoilers in me explaining this. So if you guys don't want to get spoiled, if you guys want to read this trilogy, which I highly suggest that you do, then go ahead and just skip this part. Thank you guys so much for watching. But if you've already read it, then here are my connections. Obviously not everything that I read I compared to ACOTAR. This literally, it just flashed into my head while I was rereading it, and I was like, bruh, this is like giving ACOTAR vibes. We have our heroine Natalia, and we have our hero we have Diego, and then we have Cristiano. In the beginning, it opens up where Natalia goes into her mother's room and she trips over her mother's dead body, and Cristiano is in the room. He has the gun, the blood on him, the duffel bag. It's all leaning towards that he killed her mother. Then Diego busts in, which is actually Cristiano's younger brother. He busts in, he's like, what did you do? Blah, 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 da, 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 da. Because of the circumstances, Natalia helps Cristiano escape. Then 11 years go by, right? So we have Natalia absolutely infatuated with Diego and like best friends to lovers, right? Childhood best friends to lovers. They're like meant to be or whatever. Listen, Diego is Tamlin, okay? And Cristiano, he's Reese. Okay, when Cristiano comes back into Natalia's life, it's through this, I want to say like it's a costume party. So Natalia's not even supposed to be here, right? But she ends up dressing up like a monarch butterfly. Diego sees her at this party, but he can't really go up to her and like be all up in her business because they're forbidden because of Natalia's father. But Cristiano comes back and he pulls up in a sugar skull. This is Mafia Cartel, so there's Spanish in here, and it is. I eat it up. She doesn't know who he is, obviously, at first, but he like goes up to her and he's like, may I have this dance? And so they dance, and there's like already this tension, this chemistry, and she's like, oh, you know, like she feeling him or whatever, but like she can't, but she's also kind of like scared of him, but she doesn't know who he is. And you know what? That whole scene right there gave me that scene in ACOTAR where Feyre first sees Reese, and I'm just like, when Reese was like, I've been looking for you, Cristiano is like, he doesn't say that, but he goes up to her purposefully. Then we find out later on that it was Cristiano. Cristiano's back into like Natalia's life because he's clearing his name. He cleared his name. Basically, that's that first scene. I was just like, wow. And because I know the way that this story ends up giving very much ACOTAR, but also Diego brainwashes like Natalia so much, which Tamlin does with Feyre. I just remember when I was reading, Diego was telling Natalia like all of this bad shit that Cristiano represents, and how he's like the head guy of his own cartel now, and how he pillaged this town, made it his own, and like there's SA, and he doesn't care about the women and children, and he's just killing everybody, and everybody in that town is like afraid and like slaves and all this stuff, right? You see what I'm getting here? In ACOTAR, we kind of have that same scenario, but if you've read ACOTAR, then you know that that's not the case. And if you've read Jessica Hawkins' White Monarch trilogy, then you know that that's not the case. You know, like it's not always black and white. And that's another pointer where I was like, wow. It's giving very much that. And anyways, those are basically the main point that I have. And it's just like, Natalia knows that there's this connection with Cristiano, and I'm just like, bitch, I am so ready. I honestly read it so long ago that I don't remember like how exactly it plays out. Sorry, my chair is so squeaky. But overall, I am just absolutely loving it. And I'm so glad I picked it up because now I don't feel like I'm in a slump. Now I am just absolutely thoroughly loving this trilogy. I was one, rereading it because I've been wanting to, and two, because I wanted to reread it to make sure that I loved it enough to buy the physical copies. I'm finna buy them. Plus, she's also gonna be at Book Bonanza, so I'm so excited to meet her and tell her how much I love her trilogy. Thank you guys so much for watching this Mafia reading vlog. If you guys made it to the end of the video, go ahead and comment down below a sword or like a knife emoji, you know, for Mafia, or like maybe like the blood emoji, whichever one. Something that gives you Mafia vibes. Comment that emoji down below in the comments. Let me know if you have read the White Monarch trilogy, and let me know if you guys see these ACOTAR references down below. It is so good, and if those references make you want to read the trilogy, let me know down below in the comments as well. Again though, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.